Imagine armed men standing at your door in the middle of the night. They give you only two choices. Deny Jesus and your family will live, or remain faithful and die. This is the true kind of choice many believers have faced throughout history. Today, we tell the story of a faithful minister and his family whose courage shocked an entire village and left a testimony that could never be silenced. Pastor Daniel was a humble minister who loved preaching about Jesus. He spent his life sharing the message of God's love, salvation, and hope with anyone willing to listen. One night while praying, something changed. Deep in his heart, he felt God calling him to travel to a distant land where the gospel was not welcomed. It was a dangerous place where many people rejected Christianity. But Pastor Daniel believed that everyone deserved to hear the message of Christ. When Pastor Daniel told his wife Grace about the calling, she listened quietly. She knew the dangers. But after a moment she said something that revealed her deep faith. If God is sending us, then He will go with us. And so, the family prepared to leave everything behind to follow God's call. When Pastor Daniel and his family arrived in the foreign village, life was not easy. Many people were suspicious of outsiders. But Pastor Daniel did not respond with fear. Instead, he showed the love of Christ through kindness. He helped the poor, prayed for the sick, and shared the message of salvation. Slowly, some villagers began listening to his message. But not everyone was pleased. Powerful leaders in the village began hearing about the foreign preacher. And they did not like what they heard. One quiet night, Pastor Daniel sat with his family reading the Bible. Outside, the village was silent. But suddenly, footsteps echoed in the darkness. A group of armed men surrounded the small house. Moments later, the door burst open. The leader stepped forward with anger in his eyes. He gave a terrifying command. Stop preaching about Jesus. Deny Him now, and your family will live. The room fell completely silent. Pastor Daniel slowly stood up and held his Bible tightly. He looked at his wife, and at his children. They understood the moment they were facing. With calm courage, Pastor Daniel spoke. I cannot deny the one who saved me. Jesus is my Lord. His wife stepped forward and said, We belong to Christ. Even their children refused to turn away from their faith. The men became furious. And that night, Pastor Daniel and his family were killed because they refused to deny Jesus. Bound together in the darkness of that terrible night, the minister and his family stood surrounded by angry men. The flames began to rise around them, but their faith did not tremble. Holding tightly to his Bible, the minister lifted his eyes toward heaven. Even in the face of death, they refused to deny the name of Jesus. That night, their bodies were consumed by fire. But their faith became a testimony that could never be burned away. Morning came, and the sun rose over the quiet village. But something had changed. The story of the minister and his family had spread through every home and every street. People gathered and spoke in whispers about the courage they had witnessed. They had seen a family who loved Jesus more than their own lives. And many began asking a question that would change their hearts forever. Who is this Jesus they refused to deny? From that day forward, the sacrifice of that family became a testimony. Their bodies were gone, but their faith had ignited a fire in the hearts of many. And the message of Christ continued to spread throughout the land. Their story reminds us that true faith is not just words. It is standing for Christ, even when it costs everything. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful Christian stories and Bible inspirations. And share this video so others can be encouraged by this powerful testimony of faith.